So there is a saying by Vladimir Lenin: there are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. And we are in that stage. Exactly 3 years ago, we were having no clue about what is this AI search engines. Introduction of ChatGPT was just a tip of the iceberg. Within just 3 years, there are a lot major transformation in the AI world by Perplexity, DeepSeek, and so on. So, what is so-called AI search engines? Hello, everyone. My name is Vishal Anirudh, and welcome to my show, Diary of Vishal Anirudh. In today's episode, we are going to have a conversation with Mr. Daman Singh about the evolution of AI search engines and how AI search engines will replace traditional SEO. But before all that, hello, Mr. Daman. How are you doing today?
Very good. Good to see you, Vishal. And, I'm glad to see that you took some marketing lessons with us and now you're doing your podcast. So, quite impressed.
Thank you so much. So, you want to introduce to the audience about yourself? Just give a brief introduction.
Great. Yeah, of course, the reason why I'm here is because I used to be a child marketing professor. So I've been teaching marketing for a while. I'm a marketing faculty at Douglas College in Vancouver, British Columbia. I also teach at a few other private universities, notably Yorkville University, where Vishal was my student. I've been also been teaching at Fairleigh Dickinson University, University Canada West, and a few others. And other than that, I'm also a licensed immigration consultant. But of course, marketing is my first passion.
Awesome. So, before we dive deep into the new AI search engines and how does the new AI search engine and business strategy are going to be transformed, let's touch upon what is SEO, so-called search engine optimization.
So, good question. And of course, I would say this question is important today. It was a very exciting question 15, 20 years ago, but then it may not be. The disclaimer is that it may not continue to have that kind of popularity or its usability moving forward. But of course, SEO means search engine optimization. Very simple, Vishal. A lot of people around the world. Now, imagine you're in a new city in an unknown part of the world. You want to try Thai food, Chinese food, or you want to try Indian food, and you're looking for options. So I think, what do you think most people are going to do? There is a search engine which has been imprinted into our heads over the last few decades, and of course, Google, right? As from a noun, it become so important that it actually became a verb. People just Google something, right? Just without only using it on Google. So both ways, it has become very important. But then, of course, Vishal, as you know, let's say you are in Paris, you search Indian food near me. It's probably going to give you a list of restaurant options, and this is still, a very relevant search because these are hopefully restaurants selling Indian food. But if you ask it a more tricky question, that what is the most affordable way of finding a hotel near me, will probably give you a bunch of different websites. Again, you could look into those websites, maybe get some deals. But there are some things when you're looking for a more deeper answer and you're looking for maybe a specific answer, a one word answer, or a key to an important question, and it gives you a bunch of results. Some of those results could be relevant. The others may not give you the answer that you're looking for at all. So what's likely to happen? Some people will be amazed by the search results, others not as much. And I wouldn't be surprised if some people are a little, let's just say, frustrated because they could not find the specific information that they're looking for. Well, the answer to that is deep search, right? And of course, let me just tell you one thing, that it all is a subset of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, a lot of people think artificial intelligence is just ChatGPT. Of course, this is just one of the more recognized tools, but there's a lot more to artificial intelligence. One of the subsets of artificial intelligence is machine learning. And then within machine learning is this the deep search thing, which has now been growing. But yeah, coming back to search engine optimization, but the simple thing was that you as a business, it was pretty important. And it still is, for most parts of the world, still very, very important. If consumers are looking for something, they search it on a Google search result or the other important or the other popular search engines. Our business should end up as one of the top search results. Do you agree, Vishal? Like, what was the last time you searched something on Google and you went on to the page second, third, and fourth?
Obviously not.
Almost never.
Obviously not. Just the first page, whatever the results are we are getting, we just don't even go to the second page. I would believe just the first page is very important, and even the first link.
Yeah, you're right. The first few links are actually the key. And of course, search engine optimization over the years had gathered huge importance in the advertising or the promotion world. And as you know, for many of those search results, we first see a couple of advertisements and they tell you that these are sponsored ads or these are paid ads. They disclose that information, followed by search results. But those search results are not by any means arranged in by the sequence of quality or any form of top ranked businesses. It's just that who was able to pay more. So over the years, this SEO had become a huge marketing concept, a huge promotional strategy where if you know how to use your keywords carefully, if you were able to design your website in a way that it kind of corresponds to the to those queries that people write on their search engines, you were likely to get a good standing on the search results. But at the same time, a lot of businesses were paying a lot of money.
Exactly. And I think the most of the searches, it just goes by keyword. Like if you
You're right.
imagine that what is the tallest building in this world, the tallest, it would give you the set of articles that the people must have posted. And in that you have to search what is the tallest building. And as you said, the deep search engine, it just gives me in a minute. So before we get into deep search, so I would say people are shifting from traditional SEO to new AI search engines. And one such prominent AI search engine is Perplexity. So now let us have a deep conversation about Perplexity AI. What is Perplexity and what does it do, which is different from all the other AI search engines like ChatGPT and DeepSeek, etc.
Yeah. So first of all, great mention of Perplexity and the comparison with ChatGPT. Of course, because I've been teaching in Canada for a number of years at a lot of post-secondary institutions, we are aware that students find ChatGPT quite useful, and I tell them that okay, you should be using AI. It is a tool that you must be able to use, right? Of course, a few many decades ago, calculator was invented, and it became a common thing. Post-secondary students and professors were concerned students are going to lose, their manual calculation skills. But of course, in today's time, it is important to be able to use calculator, right? We all know that. So the same thing is AI or AI based platforms, right? Or tools. Of course, we should be able to use those tools, right? But we, at the same time, we must be aware about the pros and cons. Like sometimes we just look at the benefits, and because it's quick, it's easy and free for the most part, it's quite easy for anyone to be able to ignore its limits. So ChatGPT does not always give you very accurate answers. ChatGPT is good, I think, in my experience, if you want to write long essays. At the click of a button, you'll get a lot of text. Some of that information could be good, some of them may not be as good. Perplexity, on the other hand, in my experience, gives you more summarized answers, and it is more, from the founders of the tool, if you of this platform. If you look at what they have to say about it over the years, or what their focus is, they are going for more a citation based search result. And of course, the biggest difference is that with SEO, you just got to search a bunch of links, and you have to manually go to those links to access the information that you're looking for. AI based tools, they just give you the straight answer. But of course, Perplexity is, I would say, is slightly different than ChatGPT or a regular Google search result because I would say that the information is more accurate. And of course, there's a lot of room for development, and even the developers of the tool say that it's work in progress. But even today, I would consider it somewhat a reliable tool in terms of accessing credible information. But the more important thing is that they give you references. And as somebody who's completing their bachelor's degree, you probably know the relevance of having citations, because otherwise they would not believe you. If you just come up with a fact, right? Some people might believe you, but a lot of people might question, how do you know that information? With Perplexity, you're likely to get more of those reference based results. And then another cool feature that I've been using in Perplexity over the last few months is that it gives you options whether you want to search from the more news based sources, or you want to kind of get information from Reddit based sources. And Reddit, as we know, is more a review based thing, which is more about people's experiences and opinions, if I were to describe it. Or do you want to go towards more academic sources? And do you think that's important to be able to categorize your search results based on these different options?
Oh yes. I graduated in the year 2022. It's been 1.5 years. So when I graduated, it's just like 4 months before ChatGPT was introduced, I believe. And from that time, I have been using these AI search engines. I have not been using much of Google. So I believe ChatGPT is more of a creative answers. If you give a creative question, it gives you creative answers. But Perplexity is more of what you said. It's more of an academic citations. So when I was researching for this script, when I was researching for this podcast, it gave me a 62 sources citation. When you remember, like when we were doing a marketing case study, like where you told like you just give us like 10 references, 12 references, it used to take us weeks, like 1 week or 2 weeks, in order to get the 20 sources, because when we click we have to read the entire passage. And when I was doing this script, it gave me 67 sources. So how depth the information that it gave it to me and how authentic is what matters. And that's how it differentiates between Perplexity and ChatGPT. And there's a new upgrade in the Perplexity which I've been using like 2 or 3 days before. It's a deep search engine. So where, for example, it gives me a full PDF of an in-depth analysis. For example, imagine if I search what is the marketing case study of Apple, it will give me a like 4 to 5 page of a case study, an in-depth case study, almost with 70 citations. Imagine that. On obviously, ChatGPT does not give that 62 and 100 citations. And moreover, if you do it in Google, it takes ages for us to read the entire passage.
No, you're right, and Vishal, like I understand what you're saying. Of course, you graduated at a time when ChatGPT was not that common. But let me just say one thing. I know this podcast is about the value of AI, right, and the deep search and all those tools. But still, the way that you guys did it gave you more information. When you read an article, or at least you look at the abstract, and then you read 5 different articles, and then you run that query in your mind, search within your brain, that how does this information compile, how do I put these sources together, what should I conclude, or which ones are more relevant to my project versus the others. That has still has its value, right?
Exactly.
Of course, when these tools are available, we should be know how to use these sources in a way that, of course, first, that you get gathering correct information. But I must talk about the importance of academic practices, good academic practices, and of course staying away from academic malpractices while we do this, right? But again, I tell my students to be able to, how should they be able to do it ethically, and that is important.
Exactly. And that's how I believe that problem solving and decision making skills just levels up. And the AI is elevated so much that you can run an entire code through AI. Just tell them like what your website or app needs to look like. It will give you an entire coding and you can run it. And so to summarize everything and to give a short script to the viewers on what is the difference between SEO and new AI search engines. Imagine you ask what's the tallest building in the world. A traditional search engine might give you a list of websites where you look it up. Like it will tell like where the different audiences will just write about an article and they will post it. And that's SEO. But with an AI deep search engine, it's like having a friend who already knows the answer. The system reads a question, understands the words you use, and then quickly looks through many sources. It gives you one simple answer. Burj Khalifa in Dubai is the tallest building. So that's the difference between what SEO and the new AI search engine. Okay. So how do you think the businesses will make use of this deep search engine and step up their game to appear in customer searches?
That's an interesting question, and we are still developing answers to that. This is work in progress because with SEO there was a clear-cut formula that first you start with keywords. You mention those keywords in all of your contents, and especially your website. And then, of course, you could design your website in a way that, like many businesses, for example, think about Samsung. Samsung in Canada sells so many products on a given day. And then if somebody is only searching for camcorders, if somebody is only searching for TV monitors, like computer monitors or TV screens, they have dedicated pages on their website, right? Because Samsung, very few people are going to search about Samsung, right? If you want to buy something, either you're looking for a good quality laptop or a good quality LED, right, or whatever the option is. So all those things, along with the paid model of SEO, which has become very popular, and of course, for every click, there were businesses were paying money. Basically, this was still happens, right? There is every time a customer searches something online, based on the profile of the customer, based on the information that already we know about that customer, and then their location and many other factors, many businesses would participate in what we call is an online auction that happens in nanoseconds, right? So that is what businesses were doing. With deep search, they're just collecting information from the world wide net, right? So one thing which definitely would be helpful is creating more content. If you have more presence on the world wide web, of course there is a chance that you would show up. But at the same time, since you asked about marketing strategies, Vishal, I know we are talking about the future, and definitely the Perplexity, or all these tools and deep search, that future is already here, it's happening. But at the same time, not everybody adopts that same technology at the same time. So as a business, you want to know, and you very keenly want to be aware about the fact that who are your target customers? Which part of the world are you dealing with? What is their awareness about deep search? How many people have already downloaded Perplexity on their smartphones? How many people are accessing it online on their laptops or computers? So all of these, a lot of these things remain unknown. But of course, the one single thing which has not gone out of fashion since forever is having good quality content.
So I'm not an analyst or I'm not a computer engineer and stuff, but I have been using this AI search engines for past few months, and I believe that now all I mean in next 5 to 10 years, all the founders are gonna be the face of their company. I believe that the founders needs to put up their content in social media, in any social media, be it LinkedIn, be it YouTube, be it Instagram, be it TikTok, whatsoever. If they're gonna put themselves into the social media, I believe that the AI search and I believe that that would elevate their company and add into more searches in this new AI search engines. What do you think?
No, you're absolutely right. But the thing is that with AI and machine learning and deep search, we are getting new updates on almost every week basis. I mean, I know it's hard for everybody to keep kind of keep themselves updated on what's happening, but there's one thing for sure. There's development is happening at very rapid pace. And then the only important thing, if you're a professional, if you're a student, if you're using it for any scientific purpose, for research purposes, that know what tools you should be using, what is the limitation of your tool, and of course, wherever possible, if you are using it for a very important purpose, try and go back and review the authenticity of the sources. I'm not saying that we mistrust these platforms, but their algorithms just scoop up this information from so much information that exists on the World Wide Web within seconds. And if you think you're going to use it for a very important paper, if it's a very, I would say, tricky question, or the implications are very important, try and still make yourself cognizant about the authenticity. But overall, with deep search, we are getting some credible results.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, we are moving much faster, I would say. Like in 3 years, like there are the AI has transformed a lot. Chat GPT, DeepSeek, Perplexity, and whatnot. And there is something called AI agents. But yeah, so what do you think that business needs to adapt in this fast-pacing AI environment in order to sustain themselves into the market?
So, like we discussed, the first thing is having important content out there, and more importantly, businesses or employees working at businesses need to know how to make good use of these tools. Now, we need to just discuss the importance of having content. A lot of people are using AI to create content, and there's one thing that I've observed in the last couple of years is that if you just write something with ChatGPT and you post it on your blog or on your website or other of these places, Google engines just generally do not prioritize it, right? So in terms of promotions, of course, use AI, use this deep search engine options, but then you should also be aware that how do you humanize the content more. And I know there is the AI that is humanizing the content, right? But then the most important thing is do not lose sight of the humanizing factor of information. And of course, a lot of people would just be reading your blog, so you're not just writing a blog because your blog will be picked by an AI search, right? So focus on the basics of marketing. And the more important thing in marketing always remains that who is your target customer? What segment are you going after? What practices are being employed by your competition? And AI can give you a lot of answers, but perhaps not all of them. That's why your experience and skills as a marketer still remain valuable.
Yeah, I love your word adaptability, and that is, I think, very important. Imagine, like in 2000s, when Google or social media was introduced, there was a FOMO. I mean, there was a fear of customers or audiences that there are lots of job losses that's gonna happen, and they don't want to adapt themselves in learning these skills and implementing this into the company. But as the time proceeds, they have done it, which brought $1 billion, $1 trillion companies. So yes, AI is coming. There is no doubt in it. AI is gonna be implementing in business, but then also I would say that soft skills are also important. Maybe it could be the communication, could be problem solving, it could be decision making. That will not that is very important, and the human touch is also needed. Yeah. So how actively are these companies using these AI search engines or any AI tools and implementing this into these companies is very important, right?
You're right. I think when you hire employees these days, of course, a lot of jobs that people were doing manually that would take hours and hours of manual labor is now could done be in a very short span of time using these tools. So employers have to kind of search while they are recruiting people that okay, do you are you how familiar you are with it, or how what is your level of experience with using these tools. But at the same time, I think you are still being hired for other skills and knowledge or qualifications that you have. But across different professions, across different industries, people can still take a lot of advantage by using these tools. And then, of course, so companies either search employees that already are familiar with these tools, or whatever is relevant in the line of their work, they probably give them that training.
Exactly. So, what an insightful conversation that we had about AI search engines, what SEO, and how the future companies is gonna adapt themselves into AI search engines. Awesome. Any final thoughts before we leave?
No, well, of course, the more interesting thing is that it's still developing. AI and its, related tools are developing at a very fast pace. We are amazed at some extent. We are excited, and some people are also very careful. So all I'm saying is that whatever is your line of work, you need to be cognizant, okay, which tools are relevant, how credible is the information that we get, what are the pros, what are the cons, be aware of the limitations. At the same time, I don't think that there's almost any profession where we can ignore the level of development that has already happened in the artificial intelligence. And why should we ignore it? And if possible, let's make the most relevant use of it.
So that's everything what we had today. I hope you must have gained a lot of knowledge seeing this podcast. So meet you next time. Thank you.